guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So today we're going to talk about episode 13 of Run with the Wind. So a lot of stuff has happened in this episode. The main focus of this episode is Kakeru. We learn finally about what exactly happened in his high school days and what's got him so worked up, especially when they mentioned, oh hey, are you from this high school? Anytime that they mention his high school, his mood completely changes, and we finally know why. But before I get into that, let's go ahead and discuss about like the first few minutes of this episode with Kakeru nearly punching the guy. So as expected, Haiji was the one to hold him back first, and then we have Nico-chan senpai, and then we also have Shindo holding him back, and they basically kind of drag him back with them. And then we have the twins, King, and who else was it? Yuki, stand in front of him, and it was a really cool moment. Like the whole tone was like very serious and very intense, but like seeing these guys in front of Kakeru, it was kind of cool because it almost was like, you mess with him, you mess with us. So yeah, it just tells you that they got Kakeru's back and they're not gonna let him do something stupid. Also, Haiji manages to calm down Kakeru, and he also basically says a few words to the redheaded dude, and I love what Haiji said. I was just like, ooh, like take that, But it goes to show you can't mess with Haiji or else he will come for you. Anywho, moving on from like that first little bit, the boys are obviously all confused as to what exactly just happened, and Haiji throughout this whole episode notices that this has been affecting Kakeru a lot. You can also tell that Haiji's pretty much worried about Kakeru and his well-being, so he doesn't push him or say anything until Kakeru comes to him and opens up, which is really nice, and that's kind of what I expected. But the instant that he's going to like open up and tell him, he's like, if you're gonna say something, make sure the team's with us. And of course, Kakeru does end up telling the boys towards the end of the episode exactly what happened, and I really love the boys' reactions. They were just like, that's what you're worried about? That's no big deal. Like, they're kind of basically telling him, like, that's in the past. Like, you're you, we all love you. Like, just let's keep on moving. But it's just kind of nice to see that the boys really do love and support Kakeru no matter what, and will always have his back, which is awesome. And I guess now let's talk about Kakeru's past, because that was a lot. This is one of the things that I have been dying to know more about, because it has been hinted, like, what was it? Like towards the beginning of Run with the Wind, but we just never really gotten like the full story and the details of everything that happened. We just got like a tiny little glimpse of what happened. Basically, he was miserable. There wasn't really too much that he could do about it, and he had like this coach that basically kind of had him on a pedestal and treated the rest of the team like crap. Seeing everything kind of unfold, we start to see like in Kakeru's face, he doesn't like everything that's happening. He doesn't like the way that the coach is treating his teammates, specifically that one first year. That one first year had it really rough, and I felt so bad for him because this coach basically made him feel like shit. And this coach is just a piece of shit. Like, oh my god. I really hated the coach. Going back to the first year, you could tell that he basically was doing everything that he possibly could, and he was there on recommendation. And this coach basically said, you're not trying hard enough, and like basically like saying all these really mean things that he shouldn't have even said. And this poor boy, you can see like his legs are just starting to give up on him, and it just keeps getting worse and worse as time goes by. And Kakeru notices this, and he tries to in his own way comfort him, but we all know how Kakeru is with communication. He's not that great. So he really tried in his own way, but it kind of backfired on him, and basically the guy was like, well, you wouldn't know because you've never gotten injured and you're super talented. And Kakeru just kind of like backed off and stayed quiet, and there really wasn't much that he could do. And by the time that this first year quits, that was pretty much like the last straw with Kakeru. He basically, like, everything that was just going on around him and him having the pressure of being the best just blew up, and he went ahead and punched the coach. He just, all that pent up anger and frustration just, like I said, blew up, and he took it out on the coach, and I was just like, oh shit. And not gonna lie, I feel like the coach deserved that. He had it coming. If it wasn't gonna be Kakeru, it was probably gonna be somebody else. And what I hated the most is that this poor guy was like being treated like shit, but no one around him did anything or spoke up. Basically everybody just is to blame too, because nobody spoke up, nobody did anything for this poor guy. They should have spoken up to the coach or somebody and been like, hey, this isn't right. You shouldn't be treating the students like this, basically. Your athletes this way is a better word. Because a good coach would prioritize their health first versus, you know, oh, like you're just weak, you know? So that was one thing that really like ticked me off about this coach, is that this poor boy was literally like breaking himself and still like, oh my goodness, it's just, So basically that's Kakeru's past, what happened in his high school days, and it's pretty understandable. I feel like I have like a better understanding of who Kakeru is as a person and why he is the way that he is now, and why he was so stubborn about joining the team at first. And yeah, it just makes a lot of sense now, and he still feels guilty obviously till this day, because he feels like this is his fault because of his actions, because he acted before he thought about it. He basically caused the rest of his high school teammates to not participate in any more meets, which sucks, but at the same time I feel like the teammates shouldn't have blamed Kakeru for that, because they had an asshole of a coach, and then the redheaded dude, for example, he wasn't even trying his hardest, so he doesn't have any right to complain. Anyway, I'm just really glad overall that Kakeru opened up to the boys. This just means that he's a lot more comfortable now telling the boys, and he is also better at communicating. He really is trying really hard to better himself and move past from his past. Which is really nice, because it just means that Kakeru wants to improve himself, and he wants to just be happy and like just have a sense of clarity finally, and not have this, you know, constantly eat at him. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I really have to say with Run with the Wind. This was a really good episode. Anyway, that's all I got for this week's episode of Run with the Wind. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my overall thoughts on it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!